So how on earth is it that Britain is surrounded by wind farms, still sitting on huge untapped oil and gas reserves that are making Norway rich, and yet somehow we're paying basically the highest energy prices in the world right now? Seriously. At this point, I half expect my toaster to ask me for Klarna when I put a slice of bread in. And now, even Tony Blair has started distancing himself very publicly from parts of Keir Starmer's energy approach, which tells you, I mean, if I'm in a position where right now I agree with what Tony Blair said, that tells you that this argument's getting serious. Because when former Labour Prime Ministers start publicly wobbling about the current situation, you know that something uncomfortable is happening. So what's actually going on? So basically, in a nutshell, normal British people are quietly being rinsed. And that's the long and short of it. Ofgem has put the energy cap up again. They've increased it and it's going up, I believe it's from the end of June, beginning of July. And it seems every time this happens now, people just go, ugh. They sigh and just try and calculate the number of extra hours they have to do in their already beyond full-time job to cover the future bills. And this might be the most depressing part about this, because we've almost become numb to this relentless financial punishment. It's like, oh, brilliant, another 150, 200 pounds a year gone, lovely. Exactly what the British morale needed right now. And the latest cap increase, it means that typical households paying by direct debit are looking at higher annual costs of around £200 to £220 a year. And remember, this isn't a cap on your total bill, this is a cap on the unit price that suppliers can charge you. That's a very different thing, which is why people hear the word energy cap and they think, oh good, it's protection. It's not. Meanwhile, your monthly direct debit looks like it's funding the next moon landing. And here's a fact hit for you. UK industrial and domestic energy prices are now the highest in the developed world. Fact. Particularly electricity. And that's a major issue because higher energy costs, they have a knockdown effect onto everything else. They spread into everything. We're going to see higher costs in food, in manufacturing, in transport, in business costs, in services. You name it, if it's got a plug on it or it uses electricity, it's going to get more expensive. Energy is now the upstream of modern life. Expensive energy means expensive everything. It's that simple. Now here's where this gets particularly interesting. Basically, Tony Blair very publicly has questioned different aspects of the current net zero and other energy strategy approaches of Keir Starmer's Labour Party. And that matters. Because Blair isn't Tommy Robinson, he isn't Nigel Farage, he's not GB News' comment section and some builder called Darren giving it his all. He's establishment Labour royalty. Like it or not, that's what the guy is. So when someone like that starts signalling, hang on, we need realism here, what the hell are you playing at? People notice. And the reason they notice is because many normal people already feel this disconnect. They're being told this transition is necessary. Fine, maybe it is. Maybe. Probably not though. Tony Blair did point out that our energy output and the damage that we do in a global context is 1% of the world's emission damage, if you like, whereas the US, China and India collectively account for 50% of it. So what are we doing? Even if we try to solve net zero, we're making at best a 1% difference to the overall picture. And simultaneously, our bills are absolutely brutal. And that creates political tension very, very fast. And the thing driving everybody mad at the moment is that it's confusing. Britain has wind, we have solar, we've got huge North Sea reserves. We've got huge green investment talk, constant energy policy discussion. So ordinary people, like me, like you, we naturally think, why am I still paying through the nose then? That's the emotional core of this issue, because the public expectation is and should be modernisation equals cheaper. That's the way it should be. The reality that we've got is modernisation basically equals massive bills. And because of that, people are getting suspicious. And so they should. You've got energy companies that are turning in record profits. In a time and an economy like this, they're turning in record profits at our expense. Now, this gets technical fast. So let's simplify it like normal humans. Britain's electricity pricing system is heavily influenced by gas prices. As ridiculous as that seems, even when renewable generation rises, that means that gas prices spike and then electricity prices follow, whether they like it or not. And that sounds insane to normal people. It sounds insane when you say it out loud, because it is hard to explain intuitively. You add to that things like network costs and green levies and infrastructure spending, global energy shocks like proxy wars that we shouldn't be involved in, things like supplier failures, underinvestment, market structure, blah, blah, blah. And here's where that really matters. It's not Westminster arguments. It's not climate Twitter or Greta Thunberg, the little clout goblin. It's not party warfare. It's real life. And it's real people. What happens when energy stays expensive? Well, for a start, restaurants are going to struggle. Factories are going to struggle. Small businesses that are already struggling are going to struggle more. Pubs are going to close. Households are going to try and cut spending elsewhere. Old people are going to sit in cold houses pretending that the fresh air does them good. You know, people stop using heating properly. Their health degenerates. Their homes get mould. Families become suddenly paranoid about thermostats. At this point, the average British household treats turning on the heating literally like launching a nuke. It's like, right, everybody, quick burst, turn both keys, you get 2 minutes max, and then you double up on your socks and get another cardigan. It's ridiculous. And, you know, you need to ask yourself the question, are we actually being scammed? Is that what this is? You know, you need to be careful, I suppose, saying that, because the word scam is emotionally loaded and all the rest of it. But, I mean, I feel like I'm getting scammed. I really do. I feel like I'm getting price gouged. And honestly, I'm sure you can see why, because from the public perspective, more technology, more renewables, more policy, more promises, it should eventually equal lower costs. Instead, it feels like we've got more complexity, more charges, more pressure, more confusion, and that destroys trust. And a big problem here, this is something the politicians absolutely miss, or they just ignore. People will tolerate difficult transitions. Of course they will. If they want progress, they have to. They'll do it if they feel the outcome, the progress, benefits them. It's that simple. But right now, many feel that they're paying more, they're sacrificing more, and they're not getting anything back. There's no improvement. That's really dangerous politically, because once people lose trust in the payoff, they start resisting the entire direction of your mission. So are we being scammed? Perhaps not in the cartoon villain sense, but Britain absolutely has an energy system ordinary people no longer understand. They no longer trust, and increasingly they can't comfortably afford. And even when major establishment figures like Tony Blair start publicly questioning parts of the direction, that tells you this debate is nowhere near settled, because the average person doesn't care about energy ideology. They couldn't give a shit. They care whether turning on the heating feels like they're being financially reckless, whether they can afford to heat their home or buy food for the week. And right now, for millions of people, it does. It feels reckless. What are your thoughts on this? Drop it below, let me know. YouTube is going to stick another video somewhere there. Like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz, and there'll be another one soon. Goldman, peace out.